So this week I want to talk about live events because they are very much on my mind. I've actually got 3 live events coming up in completely different flavors. And so I just want to talk about live events and why you might consider doing them, even if you're just starting out, or if you've got a great business but you've never done one before. Because the reality is it's just like a musician doesn't step into playing a stadium, right? They start off in a bar first, and then they work up to an auditorium, and then a bigger auditorium, and then eventually they get to the stadium. And it's the same way with live events. I've been doing them since 2007. I've done, I don't know, 12 or 13 or maybe 15 big ones, and probably 30 or 40 smaller events, and they have completely transformed my business. And I started very humbly, and now we've got these crazy, amazing ones where I've got this huge staff and all kinds of stuff going on, but you can just start out simply. So here's 3 reasons why you should consider it, and then 3 things you got to think about to have an effective event. The 3 reasons over here: positioning and authority. There is nothing that can get you positioning and authority like having an event. I mean, if you think about it, if you can just get on stage and speak on someone else's stage, it's super powerful with that audience. But then if you could take it to the next level and be the person that hosts the event, it's massive positioning. You get seen as the expert. You get to be seen as a go-to person. It's incredible. Second reason is revenue. That you can make a lot of money with events. There's several different ways, and we'll get to that over here, but they can be great revenue generators. The third one is the strategic byproducts are absolutely crazy. I got this term from Dan Sullivan. And if I look at my business and where I'm at right now, and we're at a new peak in this business, and it's going great, and I can trace back almost every great thing that's happening in my business. I can trace back one form or another to one of my live events. Some of them going all the way back to that first event I did in 2007. The connections you make, the partnerships you create, the content you deliver, the community you build has huge long-term impacts that you just can't even foresee. Like for instance, Product Launch Formula is now licensed in 3 languages outside of English, and we're about to have our 4th language coming up very soon. None of that would have happened if I didn't start doing live events a decade ago. And some of those things took years to develop, but those connections, that tribe you create in a live event, there's nothing like it. Okay, so three keys. You have to worry about filling the event. I mean, that should be like the #1 thing as you start to plan an event. You can do this very, very simply. It could just be a little tiny conference room at your local hotel that holds 12 people. Doesn't cost much to get that room for a day or 2 or 3. It could be just a couple $100, but you have to think about who you're going to get there and what experience you're going to create for them, and who's your avatar? I mean, this is basic marketing. Who is your avatar? Who's your perfect person to be in that room? And what outcome can you promise them to get them in that room? And then you back out from there and say, okay, what marketing is going to communicate that value to them? It's basic marketing, and it's a great place for Product Launch Formula. Product Launch Formula is all about taking your marketing and turning it into an event. If you're doing a live event, an in-person live event, you don't have to work very hard to turn it into an event because it already is an event. It's an event with built-in deadlines. It's an event with built-in scarcity, and that can be super powerful for filling it. Worry about the experience. And so it doesn't have to be perfect. You can get on stage and be yourself. I mean, that's what my whole brand is about, is just me being me. But I have learned a few things over the years from doing all these events. The first one is the start of the event's important. Another one is the end of the event is important. It's just like playing a song. If you're a musician and you're performing, then if you nail the beginning and nail the end, it doesn't really matter what happens in the middle. And that's the same way with your event. So think about the beginning of the event and the end of the event. And then think about each day, if it's a multi-day, the beginning of the day and the end of the day. And then within each presentation, each segment of the event, think about the beginning and the end, and get those right, and you win. Get people moving around, get people in different states, get people connecting, giving them exercises. Those are, I just think I gave you 4 tips that make, I mean, my events I do are just otherworldly. And if you're watching this, you've been to one of my events, scroll down and leave a comment and tell people about my events because they are incredible. And yes, here I'm bragging, I'm patting myself on the back, but they're not like any other marketing events or business events you've been to. because we get people, we get them moving, we get them excited, we get them working on stuff so they walk away with a real tangible action plan. So I could go on and on bragging about my events, but the thing is you have to worry about what the experience is. And you have to think about the narrative of the event, of how you're going to change people from when they walk in the door to when they leave, both in terms of the content, in terms of them having a plan to go forward, in terms of how they feel about themselves, in terms of how they feel about the community that you create within that room. And then you need a revenue plan. So that's not SPLAN, that's dollar plan. So think about your revenue plan. Now there's a number of ways to pull revenue out of an event. One is ticket sales. You sell seats to your event. Another one is to make an offer at the event. Now I'm not talking about those old school pitch fests where you have like no content, you have speaker after speaker after speaker coming up and giving a no content talk or a very light content and then a massive offer. I'm not talking about that at all, but what I'm talking about is have the event naturally lead into the next step. And I do this at my events. I'll have one offer typically that I make, even if even at our LaunchCon event coming up. It's going to be absolutely amazing. That's one of my 3 events that's coming up. It's the latest and greatest cutting edge in the launch world. The faculty is 100% people in my mastermind. And so it's going to be me and people in my mastermind. And at some point in the event, I'll actually make an offer. I'll make one offer. That's what we'll have at the event. And otherwise, it's going to be pure content. But that one offer it'll make a substantial amount of revenue. Another way to bring in revenue is once you're down the road and you have a bigger event is sponsorship. We don't do a lot of that. We do a little bit of that. Sponsorship can be great. And then the other one is just all the amazing, we talked about it here, the byproducts, all the things that can come to you from it, like my licensing deals. That came directly, not because I went out looking for it, but because I built relationships within my events. The relationship building within a live event, there's nothing like it. That positioning, there's nothing like it. And the strategic byproducts can be huge. I'm at a point, like when you're starting out, you do have to worry about the revenue plan. You do have to worry about paying for your costs. You do have to worry about having it be worth your time. I'm at the point now where I can do an event like LaunchCon, and yeah, we sell seats for $1,000, but it's like incredibly underpriced. It's like an extraordinary event for that pricing. But we'll bring in money from that. So I know I've got that money covered. They'll pay for that huge staff I've got there. I'll make an offer there. That'll get me profitable. But I know the experience we create is it's just so incredibly high value that the strategic byproducts that come to me will be absolutely massive. So yeah, the live events, consider doing them far earlier in your career than you think you should, because they can be a ton of fun. And there is so much good that can come from them. They're absolutely epic. And if you already have a business and you're not doing live events, consider them, because they're fantastic. They're amazing. Like I said, I've got these 3 coming up here. I've got in this headquarters right up there at the meeting room next week. I'm going to have this small, well, probably 10 or 12 people here, just a tiny little mastermind. And so that'll be fantastic. And this mastermind, we're calling it the Charity Mastermind, we raised $120,000 for Charity Water, that's a fantastic nonprofit, by doing this mastermind. And then I've got LaunchCon coming up. We'll probably have 800-900 people at that one. That'll be absolutely epic. And then that's in November. And then December is this one I can't even really talk about yet, but it's the live launch implementation workshop. It's going to be super, super cool. And that's going to fit in the middle. That's going to be more in that 50 to 100 people. So it's going to be small. It's going to be intimate. There's a lot more connection and FaceTime between me and the audience. I can't do that when there's 800 or 1,000 people. So that one's going to be really cool. So 3 big events coming up for me in the next 3 months. I'm excited. Think about doing live events earlier in your business and career than you probably have. If you already have a nice business, consider live events. It can be a huge level up for you. So I'm Jeff Walker. Wherever you're watching this, scroll down, leave a comment for me. If you've been to one of my live events, tell people down in the comments, because I'm proud of what we do. I'm proud of what we create. And let's go get them this week.